Welcome back to another Pointless Automotive podcast.
Hey, everybody.
Chadwick and Frank with you again.
Hi.
In the studio.
Yes, in the studio /workshop/magic ball, 8-ball emporium.
Oh, yeah.
I mean the actual magic 8-ball. We're not doing 8-balls. Not yet. The day is young.
Yeah. Always time.
Yeah.
It's time for bad decisions.
Full disclosure, it is a Friday. Yes, how are things? In your
Things
neck of
are
the
good.
woods. I know it's been a whole moment since we've last talked about cars.
It's been so long.
Possibly a week if you're not here, right now. Yeah. What's new in your neck of the woods? Nothing.
Not really. Yeah.
No.
Same old, man.
Nothing's.
The grind.
Nothing new to capture your attention.
No, but a lot of imports though.
Oh yes, captive imports.
Nothing but yeah.
Possibly.
Let's speak about captive imports, which is a pretty fun topic.
Yes.
You want to kick us off because I know you brainstormed up this idea. We love captive imports. A lot of them are actually pretty cool.
Some of them are pretty cool. Some of them are pretty terrible. I don't want to say captive imports get a bad rap because, quite honestly, a lot of captive import stuff, and we'll give the textbook definition here in a minute. But a lot of captive import stuff is very garbage, or it's a Hail Mary, or it literally exists only to try and fill a niche, lazily. But they're kind of fun. And so I guess, do you want to lead off with the definition of captive import? Do you want me to?
I'll let you take
Or let's our own.
Yeah.
Let's get our own captive import, because captive import is kind of a nebulous thing. Maybe I can give you the actual textbook definition.
Give the actual. There's definitely some flex in here because even in the definition, I think there's a lot of flex.
There is, and so I think a lot of times there's some things that we think of a captive import that truly isn't, and vice versa.
Right.
So the textbook definition of a captive import is: captive import is a marketing term and a strategy for a vehicle that is foreign built and sold under the name of an importer or by a domestic automaker through its own dealer distribution system. An excellent example of that is all the stuff that was in the 70s to early 80s when you had U.S. domestic manufacturers, Ford, Chrysler,
Dodge,
and GM, when they came to the realization that they had a huge hole in their lineup when it came to compact trucks.
Yep.
They didn't have either the budget or the tooling or the wherewithal, or simply they didn't think the market was there to support them building their own in-house small trucks. So you had them importing them and white labeling them and maybe mild redesigns of Japanese trucks.
Right.
So whether that was the Ford Courier, which was actually a Mazda,
the Chevy Love.
You had the Chevy Love, which was an Isuzu, and the pickup. Or you had the Dodge offerings, which we'll get into that stuff because
a little later.
Probably out of all of them, I would say Chrysler Mopar was the heaviest hitters when it came to captive imports. But they would do whether it's the Dodge Ram D50, which was a Mitsubishi, or you had like the Mitsubishi Aero pickup and some of that other stuff, or not Mitsubishi Aero pickup, but the Mitsubishi was the Plymouth Aero truck.
Yep.
And on and on.
Well, not just trucks too, like at that time, because that was at the point where Japan was flooding the market with reliable, affordable cars.
Correct.
That were good with fuel economy.
Correct.
And
fuel crunch of
the U.S. automakers, right, were left flat-footed trying to catch up.
Yep.
And at that time, it was a lot easier to rebadge
a
Japanese car with that familiar make, in healthy mid-America, where they'd want to purchase that Chevy or Ford.
Sure. And also too, if you're Mitsubishi in the 70s, or you're Mazda in the 70s,
get your foot.
You get to put your junk in the door and U.S. North American market.
Yes.
And this would have been a way to do it. And, you've got somebody, because let's say you're Mitsubishi and it's 1974. You don't exactly have a dealership network in North America.
Not yet.
But if you have Chrysler coming to you and basically white labeling your cars, selling them in North America and utilizing their distribution and service network, great. That sounds good. And then once that's established, maybe you can sell them through maybe the Dodge dealership will become the Dodge Mitsubishi dealership, and then maybe you have your own Mitsubishi dealerships.
Go your own way.
And then maybe you make the Mitsubishi Mirage until it's the end of time, and then make an Eclipse Sport Cross or whatever they're called. I think Eclipse Cross. But I digress. That's kind of the whole. It was a give and take in the world of captive imports.
True.
And it's kind of fun to kind of go back and think about it because it's still done today, not to the same extent.
No, yeah, definitely. I'd say probably the 90s, late 80s into the 90s was when this really caught fire.
Yeah, 70s, 80s, 90s. We mentioned the trucks. That's kind of started some stuff off. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them, and some of them are kind of, depending on how into the details you want to get. Like some of them were like you had Ford Europe making stuff for the European market. And they decided, hey, you know what? We make this in Europe. We make it for the European market. Maybe we can see if we can get stuff in the North American market. Even though it's like Ford to Ford, it's like Ford Europe versus Ford North America. There's a little bit incongruent. So
absolutely,
you can even have like captive import within your own brand, so to speak. I don't know, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, well, during this period too, there was a lot of these like partnerships, right? Like
right.
Ford and Mazda was a huge one. That was going on. Mitsubishi and Chrysler,
right?
And Chrysler and Mercedes. So there's like a lot of that going on, and maybe not every buyer was super informed. So I think some people actually were caught off guard by captive imports, right? It's like, it's like one of my favorite captive imports and a scenario was the Dodge Stealth about to be the Indy car at Daytona, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
And then they realized, holy crap, this thing's just a Mitsubishi 3000 GT.
Yeah.
And they put the prototype or the pre-launch Viper in its place.
Right, yeah,
So
pre-pro, two-pay wearing, three-spoke wheel Viper.
How funny is that though? Like they almost ran a Mitsubishi to start Daytona, and they were like, "Whoa, pump the brakes."
I was okay with that.
Well, of course we love
But
that.
NASCAR loving, boogity
Yeah.
fan probably wouldn't be, especially in the era, right? Like in 1991 or whatever, 1990, whatever that we're talking about.
Yeah. 1990.
So there's lots of them. I mean, there's been lots of them over the years, and some of them are, again, back to like the textbook definition. I think some of them probably technically aren't a captive import. Like if you're Numi built, that's probably not technically a captive import because that was like a collab, right? Just like if you were like a DSM, technically is a collaboration between Chrysler, and it was built in a DSM plant,
in
like a dedicated
Normal, Illinois.
Correct.
Right.
Not abnormal Illinois.
No.
Currently home of the Rivian, Normal Illinois.
How funny is that?
That's where they're
Numi's Tesla, so
that's right.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. All these captive imports, the wave of the future. It paved the way for these EV startups.
Want to hit some highlights? Like, what were some of your notable?
What do you think? You want to just shoot for the top. What do you, in your opinion, what do you think is the greatest captive import ever?
What? Okay, that's
or maybe your favorite. What's your favorite? Maybe not what rate.
Okay, I'll go.
Because there are some really good ones. Some of them are more sleepier than others. Some of them, like your aforementioned Dodge Stealth, is like pretty obviously well known.
Sure.
To be a captive import. But what?
I got a good one. Well, it's actually a group. So I'm going to go with the Pontiacs from Australia category.
Yeah.
And I really like all these cars too.
Yeah,
so
those are good.
It clearly starts off with the GTO, Pontiac GTO.
Mm-hmm.
These are all Holdens, of course.
Yeah.
The G8,
Monero.
G8 GXP, and then
GT and
the
GXP.
Chevy SS. These were all GM.
Chevy SS and run 6-speed Chevy SS.
Oh boy.
I mean, that might be the greatest captive import of all time.
So good. I want a G8 GXP.
Those are cool. I think the SS because like you had the magnetic suspension. And
sure.
You had some. I mean, that was like a. It was an M5 with none of the.
The E39.
Yeah.
Reborn.
Yeah.
100%.
That's an impossibly cool car, and that's a car if you bought now. If you bought a Chevy SS now, I don't think it's quite at the bottom of the depreciation curve.
They started going back. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's.
Are you gonna buy one that hasn't had Holden badges placed all over
I
it?
know, right? Yeah, I want my actual. I want to embrace the captive importness of it.
I want mine to look like a Malibu. I want to look like I'm a Malibu bearing down you at 180 miles an hour.
I want to put Geo badges on it. I want to make it a Geo SS.
Oh god.
That's it right there. The Geo SS.
Don't do it.
Which, I mean, it's funny to think about Geo. Geo in itself is a pure captive import brand. That's the only reason it exists was
100%.
like we will literally be. I mean, their logo is the globe with the Chevy logo slapped on it.
Yeah.
Like it literally is like we're slapping our logo on the globe.
Well, they're like, hey, Isuzu, hey, Toyota.
Yeah,
We've got some ideas.
because it was Isuzu with the did they?
Well, and Suzuki.
Well,
Sorry.
the Suzuki, because the
Suzuki and
you had the Suzuki Callis, right, or Cultus, which was also the Swift.
yes,
Which was also the
Metro.
Firefly and the Metro.
right. The Storm.
The Storm, which was the Isuzu Piazza, right?
The Isuzu Impulse.
Right. I think it's Impulse in North America. I think it's called the Piazza in Japan.
Yeah.
Same deal.
Yeah.
Same. I think Piazza was just like their
Piazza?
Giaria.
I think that was their first one, the first gen, the wedge one. Was the
Oh, and then
Piazza.
they might have changed it.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
they changed it to Impulse.
On an Impulse. And then they had the Gemini, right? Was remember the Geo Spectrum?
Oh yeah,
The
yeah.
Geo Spectrum. And then you're right, Suzuki with the Tracker,
Uh-huh.
which was the
Suzuki Sidekick.
Suzuki Sidekick. And then later you also had the Grand Vitara and the second gen Tracker,
Right.
the later, roundier, squishier Tracker.
And then all together they just called it the Chevy Tracker at the end.
Correct, the Chevy
Yeah.
Tracker. Right, when they decided to deglobify the logo and just stick to the bow tie.
Craziness.
So yeah, I mean, Geo Tracker is the quintessential.
Oh, we skipped
and
the biggest one too.
Prism.
The Prism, which was a Corolla.
Back to
100%.
Numi though. So yeah, that's a Numi creation.
A Toyota Corolla, yep.
And then you had the Chevy Nova.
I like how we went
Chevy Nova
from
was
like really good captive imports to like some of the cheapest.
I know, we're like, what's the best?
Like
Geo Spectrum.
not even a stutter step. We went from like
I know, right?
Holdens,
We can't help
like big
ourselves.
V8 rear wheel drive Holdens to Metros.
Yes. But back to the highlights. I think you're probably right. And yeah, the Holdens are obviously Australian made, although a derivative of GM.
Cool
Just like I
cars.
mentioned about like Ford Europe is a different animal than Ford North America.
Absolutely.
Um,
I like all those though. Like that whole category, whether it be, and you got to get the G8 GXP, which only came in manual. That was the big engine, and the GTO and the Chevy SS. You can't lose. All three of those are great cars.
Yes, and to pivot, I'll get back to what might be my favorite, but to pivot real quick is I think it's almost inarguable that the true like death wobble, death shake of a brand is when they become basically when they devolve purely into being a captive import or a brand
Are you gonna
exercise.
muddy up the Saab waters? Is that what I'm picking up?
Well, that's an example.
Exactly.
All of these brands that eventually die an unceremonious death is their last grasp at life is trying to be basically, look, we're not going to put money into this brand anymore, making stuff for it. We're going to badge engineer and captive import the whole brand away.
No
That
R
was Saab.
Yeah, no R&D. We're just going to take something that exists and sells well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Saab was what, Subaru and
GM. Yeah, Subaru and GM, because you had the 92X, you had the 97X,
94X.
you had the 94X was that an Opel?
Yeah, but it was under GM's.
It was under, it was GM
Same
Europe
deal.
Opel, which
I
I
mean,
think was
even
also the same as like because that was the Opel, not the Buick, was not the Cascada.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the smaller.
Yeah, like the baby Encore, I think it was. Yeah, like the Buick Encore.
No,
Enclave was a big one. And then you had the Chevy Captiva. Captiva, which is in the name. It's a captive import called Captiva.
Right. Well, the 9.3 at the time was an Opel Vectra, so I mean.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So you had GM stuff.
Saab was all kinds.
With a Saab toss in there, because I think GM owned like 20% stake in
at one point.
Saab,
Yeah, they owned a little bit, and then
Subaru.
Yeah, early on, then they got even more.
And then, but you can say the same for Saturn. At the end, you had the Saturn Astra, which was an Opel Astra. You had this. You had what is, I want to say, it might be my favorite. I might revisit this. I teased it a second ago, but the Saturn Sky Redline and the Pontiac Solstice GXP. Those were Opel GTs. European Opel GTs rebadged and captive imported.
Those are cool, man. I kind of want to get my hands on one of those.
Those motors make good power, but like I feel like they're kind of prone to turning themselves inside out.
18s or 20-inch wheels. It looked like a Hot Wheels car.
Yes. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, but I feel like every single Solstice is black with chrome 5-spoke wheels.
Or silver, yeah, black or silver.
So that was the end. So that was the end of both Saturn and Pontiac, because you had the Pontiac G5
too,
and Saab.
Yep.
And Isuzu. Isuzu at the very end was, you had like, what was it, the Ascender, which was a Trailblazer.
Oh, Acura.
And you had the
SRX, right? Or the SLX.
Correct. Yeah, the SLX was an Isuzu Trooper. But Isuzu at the end of their North American run was purely rebadged stuff.
That's right.
Because you had, what was the other one? What was their truck that was a Nissan Frontier? The Equator. No, that was a Suzuki. I'm sorry, that was a Suzuki Equator. They had a truck that was, I think, a GM product. It might have been an Isuzu version of like the Colorado.
I think it was the Colorado. I was just gonna say.
I don't even remember what it is. And technically, I guess that's like. Is this a new concept, the reverse captive import, the captive export? Because that was a domestic
badged as a foreign car.
Not the other way around. Not a foreign car badged as a domestic.
Well, it's definitely not captive. It's definitely not an import.
It's a
captive export domestic.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah,
that's a whole other.
That's interesting.
That's a different kind of can of worms. But then, Pontiac at the end, you had the G8, which was the aforementioned Holden. You had the G5, the G6, which was, I mean, that was a GM product.
Yeah.
The G5 and the G6s were both GM products, but one was a Cobalt and one was a. It was the spiritual successor to the Grand Am. But what was that shared with? Wouldn't it have been a Malibu? Smaller than Malibu.
Yeah, smaller than Malibu. Like the G5, G6. I forget what that. I know one.
And then you had the G3, which was
its own thing. That was like a Korean build.
It's a rebadged Aveo, which was in and of itself a rebadge. What was it?
A horrible vehicle.
Like a Daihatsu something or other. Daewoo. Not the Lawns, not the
whatever.
Yeah,
Kalos,
I think it was, like a Daewoo Kalos or something like that.
I remember there was an article.
Aveo.
There was an article about the Aveo's interior being the most toxic material like car
just
ever
real
made.
killing.
Yeah, because the plastics were just absolutely made out of like subhuman grade material.
Yeah, like gutter oil pressed into a cube or something like that. But I believe the G3 was the last Pontiac ever produced. Like rolled off the production line, because for the Canadian market, I think. But I think it was the last, and I think the shortest run, because it was only a 1-year deal. I think it was just like 2008 or 2009. It was just like,
what a way to go!
Pontiac G3, and this is this terrible Chevy Aveo with a Pontiac emblem on it. But what's interesting is, so the names with the G8, G3, all that stuff, is the G3 is the outlier. But my understanding is the G6, so would have been the 6th generation of the Grand Am.
Is that right?
The G5 would have been the 5th generation of, I guess that's like the bird cars, right? Sunfire, and the sun cars, whatever you want to call them.
Cars.
And then the G8 would have been the 8th generation of the Grand Prix.
Interesting.
There you go.
I like that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But yeah, as far as the absolute best, or maybe my favorite, is Hot Take Alert.
Let's hear it.
What is your thought on rebadged German convertibles turned into hardtops? with gaudy, crazy, unusual style.
Is there a lot of option in this category, Sarah?
Potentially supercharged in highest trim. How do you feel about the Chrysler Crossfire SRT6, my friend?
I mean, it is a Mercedes, and it has all the Mercedes maintenance associated with it, and it only came in automatic though.
Yeah, the GT. So
you could get a Crossfire.
The SRT6 was only as an automatic, but you could get the standard 6-cylinder, the 230 horsepower 6-cylinder with a manual.
With a roll your own option, yeah.
With 6-speed, which is the same everything out of the. For those who aren't familiar, it's basically a rebadged captive import Mercedes-Benz SLK.
Yep.
Although only the 6-cylinder, not the supercharged 4. You only get the SLK 320, which was the standard Crossfire, which you could get with a manual, or the SRT6, which was the powertrain from the AMG version. So
it's a pretty good looking car, man.
Too. It's a weird looking car. I remember at the time it was pretty polarizing. People were like, that's super ugly. I always thought it was pretty cool.
Well, the SRT6 had that cool center exhaust.
The center exhaust. You had the big spoiler on the rear.
That
pedestal. Yeah, that pedestal spoiler. The standard ones had the automated one. The SRT6 had a huge fixed.
Oh, that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, just like a straight up whale tail.
I just know the interiors were just garbage.
They were kind of terrible.
Like the plastics just felt like they shedded their coating within the first 5 years.
Yeah, exactly. All the paint falls off of it.
That's Chrysler. I think that was the Chrysler car.
Yeah, it was. So those were
definitely a cool car.
It's cool.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I've seen one that was remotely clean. I don't know what the production numbers on those. Now I kind of want them saying what a production.
They're pretty low. I think the fact that they were automatic only kind of sucks, but man, SRT stuff was fun because you had the neon that became the Caliber. You had the SRT8 lineup, which was awesome. That really kicked off the muscle car.
You had wagons, you had fancy sedans,
the Challenger coming back,
coupes.
That's still around.
Total number of units for the Chrysler Crossfire. From 2004 model year to 2008 model year.
And this is just the Crossfire.
Just the Crossfire across the board. What is your guess, my friend?
I don't know. They probably sold a bunch of them. I don't know. Let's say 4-year run, 5-year run.
04, 05, 06, 07, 08.
5 years.
5 years running.
Let's just say they run 100,000, 120,000.
76,014 units.
That's very low.
So under 80,000 units. I don't know how many were
SRT6.
I don't know how many were SRT6s.
Less than 10%.
Yeah, because if you're dropping SRT6 money on one of those,
they weren't cheap. Yeah.
I don't know. Production numbers. Okay, I do have production numbers, my friend.
Oh.
So we're gonna go only left-hand drive. Apparently, they made right-hand drive ones.
Yeah, in Europe.
So they exported them to Europe. I didn't know they exported
them.
It's
like the 300C was really popular over
That's
there
true.
too. Yeah.
That's true. That makes sense more than I think the Crossfire.
Kinda, yeah.
Who's buying it? Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Right. So SRT6 Coupe. All model years, although they only made them, apparently the SRT6 was only in the first 2 model years, 05, 06. There were no 07 or 08.
Oh. Must have been a successful car.
You had 2,466 coupes. Roadsters, you had 1,321.
I'd probably get the Roadster.
So you had, across the board, you had under 5,000 SRT6s in any form. Right-hand drive coupes 105, Roadsters 179.
Boy, what a rare vehicle.
And almost all of those were the first model year. So the coupes, which they made the most of, 2419 in 2005. That's how many they made. They made 47 in 2006.
Thanks for tuning in for our SRT
Crossfire Watch
deep dive.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous, man. We should track one of those down, I guess.
We should, yeah.
It'd be fun.
We should definitely do that. So we should get a Crossfire. I like every episode we have. Like we should buy one of these. We should.
The list is long.
It is long and growing. And growing. So yeah, you definitely have the correct answer with what is the best.
Sure. That's a given.
Can I give an honorable mention to the Conquest? Chrysler Conquest.
Oh, it's so
Starion.
Nice. Yeah. Well, same with the Stealth.
That's same with it's almost the exact
same.
Like no effort to even camouflage it. It's literally just swap a badge.
Yeah.
Like I don't. Is there any meaningful difference between the two?
I don't think so.
Like at all.
No, it's like the Stealth from 3000 GT, except the Stealth didn't get.
That actually has tiny differences.
Well, it has.
I think there's almost Like, I don't even think there's a body line difference, or like
Maybe not.
taillights are the same, wheels are the same, like everything is the same.
That's fair. Yeah.
I think even color options are
The thing is, both of those Mitsubishis are both cool cars. So that's
They
kind
are
of
cool. Yeah, they are very cool.
Both versions are amazing.
Yeah.
I think we're missing other stuff too. Like we did hit the Geo stuff, but how about like Dodge Raider, which is like a Mitsubishi
the Pajero.
Pajero, however you want to say it.
Pajero.
Pajero.
Yeah, so there's that. You've got the shoot, what else? I guess we're being pedantic. I guess technically the Stealth is a Mitsubishi GTO.
I mean, yeah, right.
Whatever. What else did you have? I mean, you had the Ram 50, which was the little pickup truck.
The Mighty Max.
The Mighty Max. You had what was the one? What was the Ford? Remember the Ford Aspire? I mean, terrible car.
Horrible car.
But that was a Ford. I think that was a Ford Europe car. It was something else in Ford.
Was it?
Europe. But that version was in and of itself even like a Daewoo or a Daihatsu.
Oh boy.
Or a Kia. I think it was a Kia. I think it was a super early Kia.
Remember how bad those were? Like the Kia Sophia.
Are you ready for Ford Aspire stories?
You got a Ford Aspire story?
A single one. I don't think anyone has multiple Ford Aspire stories.
Well, I think people aspire to have multiple Ford Aspire stories.
Okay. Before I go, I'm going to go a tangent off of a tangent.
Boy.
So this other tangent is, I think, so Ford Aspire might be one of the worst, like, incongruent, like, name for a car compared to what it is. Like, the worst name for a car is maybe Ford Aspire. The other one is Chevrolet Celebrity. 0 celebrities have ever driven a Chevrolet Celebrity.
There's Euro celebrities too.
The Euro Sport? Yeah,
Yeah.
the Euro, yeah. Weren't there like white with like red stripes,
Yeah,
right?
they were cool.
Pinstripes, and then like
You know what I think about
white painted wheels.
Yeah.
So yeah, Chevrolet Celebrity Euro Sport, Ford Aspire, terrible. Same with the Ford Fiesta.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's having a party in one of those. I guess it's a little like cheery.
You could party in the ST.
You could party in the front and in the back. But the Ford Aspire story that I have is when I was a budding young man. I was roughly 15 and change, almost 16 years old, and I was doing my
butt.
Oh yes. No, I was significantly skinnier than I am today. Not that I'm exactly huge or anything, but I remember forever my driver's license was like 5'10", 120 pounds.
You look like McLovin.
Strikingly accurate comparison.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, and maybe I'll have to dig something up, and if you're not currently watching on the YouTube channel, maybe I'll bait you with that masterfully. But the story with the Ford Aspire, so I taken my driver's training. The dude comes up like, I went to Driversity.
Oh,
was the name of the
very
place.
formal.
Yes, yeah. I always said celebrate Driversity.
Yeah.
It should have been the bumper stickers. But so we went to Driversity, and they make you watch like the red asphalt thing.
Oh, I love that.
Where they're like they show like the aftermath of like a whole car wreck, and it's like blurry film from like early 80s, and then it would pan back. It would like cut back into like the control room of like the CHP guy, and it would like be berating you like at the camera. You sick sons of bitches. You not wearing your seatbelts and obeying traffic laws and paying attention and driving drunk and like chastising you for somebody's horrible accident that happened 15 years before you were born.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, watching those. So at Driversity, I then would do the driving test.
Okay.
And so Mr. Driver Tester Man, showed up hungover in his white with gray cloth Ford Aspire. This thing was barely hanging on for dear life, just driving. And I'm like, I don't know if I guess I feel comfortable driving this. To the point where anytime we would come to a stop, this was like the dead of summer, because it was the summer, I suppose it was the summer between junior and senior year of high school.
Okay.
So, boiling ass hot, in this Ford Aspire, just
Sure, the AC
absolute
didn't work.
dumpster fire. Yeah, it's full of
Probably
garbage.
never an AC
This guy, it could have been 30 degrees out, and this guy would have been sweating heavily with how like unkempt and hung over and probably still drunk showed up. So I'm driving around, and every time we would have to come to a stop or get to a hill, he'd have to kill the AC, or the AC would kill the car.
Oh yeah.
So we would literally come to a stop, and he'd have to turn the AC. He'd reach over and be like, "Oh, I have to turn this off so the car doesn't die." And he'd like push the button, and then we'd start going again, and he'd like turn it back on. It was just,
Sounds about right.
it was very typical Ford Aspire. And that was, I mean, those cars were built, what, like mid-90s? This would have been like a 96, a 95, 96?
Early 90s.
And so let's call it a 95. This would have been in like 2000?
90-year-old
So this
car.
would have been like a 5-year-old car.
Wow.
That's like actively shitting the bed.
They don't build them like they used to.
They don't, yeah, it's something to aspire to. But it was...
It sounded like an X-Fire.
When was the last time you saw Ford
Aspire. I saw an ad for one I was thinking about getting. Like, ooh, yeah, it's manual.
Show swap. There's your show swap candidate, right?
That's
The Ford Aspire, like not the Shogun.
We'd have to
the
push the
shotgun.
firewall back, I'm sure, a little bit, but
Yeah, just go two, one in the front, one in the rear, all-wheel drive,
there we go.
12-cylinder. Yeah, and you got any other high notes on? Because there's lots. I mean,
There's a lot of them. I mean, just to circle back, how about the values on those Pontiacs, by the way? Like the GTOs, the G8,
Those
GT8
G8s are
out of this world. But they were super rare. And then the Chevy SSs never got super cheap. They went down to like the mid-30s,
Yeah.
and now they bounced back to the 40s.
I think the 40s now.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool to see that those cars that they didn't even sell that well.
Mm-mm.
But the value is there, which is ridiculous. I don't know. I don't know, man. I'd love to, like I said, a G8 GXP would be right in my wheelhouse because I love Pontiac.
Yeah. I'd rather have the SS, even though it does look like a rental Malibu.
It does.
Like you literally have to like double check. Like I'll every once in a while I'll still get fooled by like a really clean like Malibu LTZ, like top spec Malibu. I'll like double take it. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, the exhaust gives it away, I think.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, so I came up with this. Let's pull back the curtain a little bit. I kind of came up with this idea. The reason being, is for those who haven't picked up on it, I am an automotive photographer, and I was on a shoot in Niles Canyon.
That's a great place.
With a 2003 Ford Mustang Cobra. That's the Terminator one. This was a convertible in the, I don't remember the name of it, but that royal blue purpley color. Not Mistachrome.
Give me your clothes.
Come again?
Give me your clothes.
Come with me if you want to live. Come with me if you want to jizz. So it's at this really cool old, the Niles Flying A gas station. It's an old gas station. It's all restored.
Yeah,
so we were shooting it there. It was like at dusk, so like neon lights were on. It was fun. And what do I see casual? It's really tight quarters. So in order to get the shots, I need to stand on the other side of the street. So I'm playing Frogger a little bit, trying to not get hit by cars.
Right.
And what do I have to step out of the way of so I don't get hit by? A somehow still running Mercure Scorpio.
Wow.
And Mercure Scorpio, just some old dude with his family casually driving down in his red over silver two-tone Mercure Scorpio.
It was like that and the XR4 Ti were the only things that Mercure had.
Yes, Jim Rome's favorite vehicle, the XR4 Ti, which was a Ford Sierra. XR4i. I think they added the T to denote turbo.
Yeah, we had it
for us. Did they have an NA version in Europe?
I'm sure they
I think
did.
that is.
I'm sure they had a diesel version. Because wasn't it the Sierra?
Yes,
So
Sierra
I'm sure they had
XR4i.
1,000 engine options.
Yeah, exactly. You get like a 1.2 liter, whatever
Diesel.
embargo beating. Yeah. So you have that, and I cannot remember the last time I saw one of those.
There's not many. Yeah.
You know what it reminded me of? Very similar car, but an even weirder matchup.
What's that?
Do you remember the what's it called? The Sterling. It was a number. It was like the 525i or something like that. What was that thing called? Where it was basically, it was a Rover body,
right?
But with
super boxy. I can visualize.
Yeah. A girl in high school had a hand-me-down one. She's like, "This is the weirdest, stupidest car." She hated it. It was like this joke, but it was super clean.
Super cool.
Grandpa gave it to her, and it was. See, now I gotta look it up while we're talking about it.
How random is it that you saw one actually in the world cruising around?
In the flesh.
Were you like, go into the chute?
I was just like mouth agape, like watching it go by. So the Sterling, there was like, okay, we will get
Acura Legend.
we'll get an Acura Legend V6, an automatic tranny. We'll stick it in a Rover body. We'll import it to North America. We will call it a Sterling to seem extra. And drive it around. I think that girls in high school was the last of those I've seen.
Well, think about your favorite there. Like you like the Saturns.
Yes.
You could get the what was it? The View Redline came with a Honda
Yes.
Element engine.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Element
and the base ones were the
3.5, right? That was in the
3.5.
Element. It was also in the Ridgeline and what's the other one?
Yeah, and Odyssey.
Everything, yeah, the big stuff.
Yeah.
Not Passport. What's the other one? Why am I blanking on
Pilot.
the most popular? Pilot.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah, it is. And they said, oh, the red line. It's our really performance one. We'll take a
they put a
minivan
little
engine
on it. It's
Minivan
kinda
engine in it. Yeah, you know what? I kind of like them.
They're cool looking.
They're kind of cool.
Yeah, they got a huge front, like the air
Yeah,
dam.
the huge
is
square.
crazy. Yeah,
With like a mesh insert. Yeah.
it's cool.
So who made the worst? What was the worst captive import?
Oh boy, I think a lot of people would say Geo.
I think reflexively they would, but those cars, I mean,
I think the
great,
Metro
but they
convertible was cool, but I think the Metro as a car probably wasn't the best build quality. The interiors were poo.
they were, they were disastrously unreliable, and with a manual, you were getting 50 plus miles a gallon.
Sure.
Yes, it was a death trap, and yes, it was made out of chewing gum and Legos. But if you're just as a pure commuter, they did their job.
They were all other cars.
Well, I would say that aforementioned Pontiac G3 would be worse. I think that's a worse car. Those Aveos are
that's fine.
absolute garbage.
Well, the Aveo in general.
The
right?
Aveo itself is
horrible.
it's the same deal.
Horrible car.
What about, do you remember, was it quiz show, was it episode 1 or 2? The one you quizzed me on, the Pontiac product?
The Le Mans.
The Le Mans.
The Le Mans.
Le Mans. That was a Daewoo, right?
Yep.
Was that the worst one? That was not a good one.
No, it wasn't. That's often panned as one of Pontiac's worst vehicles, or anything with a Pontiac badge.
Yeah, pretty bad though. What's interesting is like a lot of the good ones. Well, you know what's another one I completely forgot about? Do you remember a commercial with an animated duck? And what was the supermodel? What was the supermodel that was in the commercial with the duck? The duck that would hop out of the emblem.
I want to say.
And being animated.
I know what you're talking about. It's
Is it Zig?
Who was the? Are you trying to think of the
Zig.
actress?
Yeah. I thought it was like Christy Brinkley or something like a
Has to
like
be
a
period.
some supermodel, 90s supermodel, just hanging out with this.
Are you talking about the Almonte? No,
the caddy that zigs.
Oh, Vitara.
The Vitara.
Oh my god.
The Vitara, which
I
was
still want to buy one of those.
I always thought those were just an LS swap waiting to happen.
You think so?
They're rear drive.
Yeah.
It's all GM.
Are they real? They're not.
Those are rear drive.
No, I think Vitaras are front wheel drive.
Oh, I really think those are
let's
rear
put
wheel
money
drive.
on this.
I don't know.
I believe
Let's
the
put
Vitara
a
front
ham
wheel
sandwich.
drive.
Let's see.
Yeah, one ham sandwich coming up. Vitara is
Also the Opel Omega and the Vauxhall Omega. Model years 97 to 2001. They were built in Rüsselsheim, Germany. Front rear layout. The 4-speed 4L30E automatic transmission.
Those are rear wheel drive. A Vitara
rear drive
is
V6. Yeah, I'm telling you.
really.
Yeah, LS swap bait. Ooh,
I thought they were front wheel drive.
Yo, they sold those to 2001.
Did I just have my mind blown? Wait, a 2001 Cadillac Vitara comes with a 3-liter V6.
Correct. Rear drive. It's the Opel. What do they call that? The high feature V6, like a complete pile of garbage. Is that what we're doing? Are we buying the Vitara and LS swapping it?
So two things. Cars I want. Horribly. I don't know why.
Yes.
Cadillac Vitara.
Okay.
And the other.
Do you want it now? Did you not want it before, but
No.
now you do purely because you just discovered it's rear drive?
I do want it way more. Are you sure?
It says right here, mid-engine, or sorry, mid-size.
Mid-engine?
car.
Jeez.
Front rear layout. Yes, I'm telling you.
Get out of here.
Find an engine bay photo maybe, if that's what it's going to take.
That's not going to help me.
It might. I'm telling you.
These guys never talk about it.
So now you're the top of your list. The Vitara has leapfrogged or duck go'd its way to the top of your list. What
It has captivated me.
It has.
The Aurora.
The
first
Aurora's
gen
are cool.
Aurora.
The 4-liter V8.
The rear tail lights, the way it looks, the body's kind of
There was one
squished down.
There was one on Cars and Bids. Shout out to all my Cars and Bids homies. who are probably not listening. But I'm gonna look it up. Is it Aurora?
Yeah, it's something about
Aurora Borealis. But it had like a mint green leather interior. Yeah, there it is. It's like a silvery green exterior, like a silvery blue, and it's got a straight up green leather interior, and it's fantastically cool. It's like it was basically their answer to like all the North Star power cars that were terrible, because this was like North Star-ish.
Yeah.
But it didn't have the head bolt problems that the North Stars had that made those cars.
I did not know I thought the Catera was like a Malibu or something, didn't it? It looks like one.
It looks front
wheel drive.
I mean, it looks like a 90s Opel, which is what it is. But like, it definitely looks front wheel drive.
We're gonna get Catera in the garage, guys.
Catera talk. We do an all Catera episode.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Catera build series.
I wish
episode 72.
Yeah, I wish they had an Alcantara interior option for the Catera.
You can do it. Somebody's had to have LS swapped to Catera, right?
Ooh, you think the HMA can promote that kind of?
I have a very like tenuous tie-in to a Catera story, real quick.
Oh my gosh.
So once upon a time, more when I was in my muscle car loving days, which I still love them. I just don't tinker with them nearly as much. I went and looked at a 1965 Dodge Dart. Tudor.
Oh, I love those.
Faded. Yeah, early Dart. So it's the early Dart.
Good looking car.
Yeah. Two-door, faded red, beat up interior. Had a warmed over Chrysler 318 in it. Guy was asking something very reasonable. It was a 4-speed manual, which was cool. It was very uncommon in those. And he mounted up his own exhaust using secondhand Cadillac Catera mufflers. Big, like OEM, like form-fit, crazy, large chamber mufflers, and the car actually sounded pretty damn good. And it kind of made me wonder about like what other just like second-hand cheap OEM mufflers can you get, like somebody selling on Craigslist, and use those for like performance. Like if you find some guy parting, like, oh, I've got an M3, an F80 M3, and I put custom exhaust on it. I'm just selling my stock exhaust for like peanuts.
Sure.
Like, I feel like those mufflers would sound dope on like a muscle car or a LS swap Catera or.
Yeah, it's not crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do we think? Are we getting a Catera? What are we doing?
So you ready?
I'm ready.
There's one. The first one that popped up.
Yeah.
Just marked down from $3,750 to $3,500.
Ooh. Where's that? Can I guess?
Yeah.
Is it in Pleasant?
Yeah, it is.
Is it gold?
Have you been looking at it?
No, but I drove by one the other day with a for sale sign on it.
This is it.
Parked on Bernal.
Well, this
when I was
one's
going to my car park.
in a warehouse, which is crazy, with a bunch of other cars, like a car showroom. So it's probably taken care of. But
It
listen,
was down the street from specialty car sales, so maybe it's that.
It's in. Their picture is in specialty car sales.
Well, there you go. Okay, so it's funny. Like it doesn't get to live in the showroom. They park that thing on the freaking street to try
The
to sell
photos were taken in the showroom though. So $3,500 gets you a Catera with 89,000 miles.
Oh boy.
From 99. And listen to this. This is my favorite part.
Yeah.
Daily driver that runs and drives. Great for what it is. Couple minor things. The passenger visor falls down. Blah blah blah. Anyway, timing belt, water pump, radiator, brakes just done.
Ooh. Frank.
We're getting in Catera land for 35. I'd get that for 3.
Have we devolved into no longer talking about how we have problems about purchasing vehicles?
We're
doing
actively
it live on air.
You guys can see the madness.
Exactly.
Hey, that's not a bad buy. Get that for 3,000. It's not even 90,000 miles yet.
90,000 miles.
Timing belt's done, Frank.
I'm trying to remember. I know those cars are notoriously unreliable, but I don't remember what fails on them. I think it's the motors. But I
Is
know.
it that 3
I think
liter?
so.
What else does stick that in? It's
Well,
GM.
that just gives us a reason to LS swap it. Oh boy.
I'm sure there's access already for
Well,
that.
what we'll do is we'll find a wrecked ZR C7 ZR1 and C6. Let's not get greedy. We'll get a wrecked C6 ZL1.
The interior photo has the diagnostic tool hooked in.
Barely just
not resetting codes, guys.
No, not at all.
Dude, we need this. $3,000, you can go wrong. You can't go wrong with that.
How about this? If it's still on the market by the time the BMW goes home, should we?
Oh my god. What can we do?
Or
There's no money in that car.
There's money in that
There's
car. It's
negative
just going the
equity.
wrong way.
Yeah, it's negative equity in that car.
Yeah, it's a dumpster fire.
Okay, well, now that I know it's rear-wheel drive,
Yeah.
imagine doing some drifty shots.
I was gonna say, well, we can go to. Should we go to the
Sonoma Drift Night?
the Sonoma Drift Night at Catera? Weld the diff on an otherwise stock Catera.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
Replace the automatic shifter with like the huge like acrylic dildo shifter.
Oh, hell yeah. Or the Katana handle and blade.
Yes, the katana. Yes, the god. Go full. Yeah, do like the moaning anime girl, like chick, like montage rapper on the.
Oh yeah, the orgasm face.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. I think that's in our wheelhouse. How fun would that be?
We're getting Vitara.
We'd be very comfortable.
Let's go.
We're like flying around on the sofa seats. Or just
Oh, I know, right?
Are they comfy? Is the interior not? Oh my god.
It's a Cadillac, dog.
Oh yeah.
It's a Cadillac.
Which used to mean something in the 60s. Maybe the 50s. But
captive imports, my friend.
Okay. Fine.
Where else do you get Vitara talk? Oh,
sorry about that, guys.
Speaking of Holdens, do you
is Holden in this part? Yeah.
Well, you know what you can get? I think you can still get them cheap. You just have to scour the auctions. Like the. Why is this not recording?
Oh God! Don't say that.
Okay. Well, we'll worry about that later. We're gonna have to go off that audio over there.
Is it not recording at all?
It's not right now. I'm not about to start. It was. I don't know why it is.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Did you not ever start it?
I'm pretty sure I started it. I don't know. Maybe the button didn't button.
All kinds of technical.
The hardest button to button. Anyways, coming at you with questionable audio.
I'm glad we're using these microphones.
I know, it's okay. We're only talking about Vitaras and such. But what I was going to say is, do you remember the later Chevy Caprices that they only used for like municipalities, so like police cars and stuff? You had the 6-liter in it. It was like the stripper Holden Monero.
Yeah, that was right before they brought the show.
Had a Holden Caprice.
Yeah, it's before they brought the Taurus.
Yeah.
As the main
they just like, hey, look, we don't have anything that's like police pursuit worthy, so they press this in the service.
Those are cool.
Those are cool. They've got like no back seat, and they've got
smashed up door panels. 8
right. Yeah,
9 grand for a good one.
Yes. So yeah, good times. But the last I looked, you can get those at like there's like a municipal vehicle auction. There's one in Davis. There's one in Vallejo.
Okay.
And they're around, and you can get one for not an enormous amount of money. You can get one for like $3,500 or something.
And plus, there's the clout you gain driving around in a former police car, right? Everybody. Well, the only thing is,
but that could be our drivetrain donor for our Vitara.
It's true, but if you want to get somewhere fast and you're on like a 1-lane road, everybody's going to slow right the hell down in front of you.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, you know what? We've been captive enough. I think it's this time.
Can I throw in one quick honorable mention?
Oh, what do you got?
Plymouth Sapporo.
Yeah.
AKA the early 80s Dodge Challenger.
AKA
the Mitsubishi Galant Sigma, I believe.
Yeah.
Not Galant Beta. No. Not the Cuckold edition, but the Galant Sigma on that Sigma grind set.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's a very weird car. I think it'd be so cool to pick up like a Plymouth Sapporo or those early Dodge Challenger because they're so.
Could you get them you can get them with weird hill, right?
Yeah, you can get them
super.
I don't know if it was a 4-speed or a 5-speed.
I'm not gonna
say 4-speed.
You think 5? I think. Oh boy.
Should I do some?
You're giving a lot of credit.
Quick research on the fly here about Plymouth Sapporo facts.
Yeah, you wanna launch that job rec for that sound guy too.
5-speed manual or 3-speed automatic.
Okay.
Dude, you can get a 4G63 in one, apparently.
Get that.
We're gonna buy one, baby.
An NA 4G63?
Turbo?
No,
bro, 4G63 turbo.
Not in the US market.
Mechanically. The car was available with a variety of engines, including diesels, a number of normally aspirated gasoline engines, and one of the earliest applications of the long-running turbocharged 2-liter 4G63 turbocharged engine in the top GSR model. That must okay. The North American market was available in one basic configuration. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. When I clicked on Sapporo, it must have accidentally dropped me straight into the Galant Sigma. Yeah. So we got the 2.6 Astron engine. So that was the balance shaft one. That was the basis of the series engine and stuff. So that was the same one that was in the trucks.
Wish you could have got the 4G62 turbo. That would have been.
Dude.
I'm sure that swap is capable of being done.
Yeah.
4G63
swap a Plymouth Sapporo. Let's do it.
4G63 swap a Vitara.
Ooh, see now we're getting really busy. So, on that note,
It's time, my friend.
I know. I get to close my laptop, so everyone can confirm I'm not cheating. I'm merely forgetting.
You're in the hot seat this time. So it is time for our automotive print ad quiz show.
How does that work, my friend?
So we are digging up and dredging up the past 80s, 90s, early 2000s automotive print ads found in magazines, printed text, very archaic form, a scroll. We're going to read that ad, omitting obvious giveaways, and today is Frank's day to guess. He gets 3 guesses. Between each guess, he can ask for help. He can ask specifically for help, or I can throw him a lifeline of some sort, but I'd rather watch him suffer since he's tormented me in the past. But we're going to read this ad, and let's see if you can decide what car I'm talking about, Frank.
By the way, is it weird that, like, you said magazine, and it popped in to my mind some lyrics to a rap song, and I don't remember the name of the song, and I don't remember who does it, but for some reason, it just pops into my head, and I can't. And I don't want to say it because it's a little crude. But does that ever happen? Like you get like lyrics stuck in your head and you don't know what
it does. Yeah. Or you sing something that's similar to the lyric.
I'm a fiend. Lotion and magazines is all I'm left with. Was what popped into my head, and I don't know what it came from. Okay, anyways,
maybe this ad will bring that.
Maybe this particular print ad was the basis for that line. They were really excited by what's on this.
Could have been. So the vehicle, it shows a twisty mountain road.
Very twisty.
Shows a vehicle front and center. A big tagline at the top.
Okay.
It says the vehicle's make and model, and it says luxury with a swift kick.
Ooh.
Okay, so you got luxury.
It sounds turbocharged to me.
Maybe. It's like no other car in the world. Ooh. That's a bold statement. I mean, 4 wheels.
Right.
Okay, the rare combination of luxury and performance that only comes from precise execution of every last detail.
Okay.
To some, that's called quality. At Blank, we call it pride.
Okay.
And it begins with an interior that's devoted to comfort.
Okay.
You can sense it in the reclining bucket seats and deep pile carpeting. I think we're dating it.
Yeah.
You can hear it in the 6-speaker cassette stereo with graphic equalizer.
Oh boy.
You can feel it in the 3-way adjustable suspension that finely tunes the ride to your, Frank, yours,
mine,
satisfaction. In fact, everything in the new Blank, from the power sunroof to the full climate control, has been designed to create a unique level of luxury and a unique level of performance.
Okay.
Underneath the rich appointments lies an engineering marvel.
Ooh, I'm ready.
A 3-liter overhead cam V6 that achieves 0 to 55, which was popular. It's like 7.5 seconds.
Okay.
It's performance that is crisp, sharp, and standard. 5-speed transmission or optional automatic. Power rack and pinion, power steering, 4-wheel disc brakes, and fuel injection.
Okay.
Performance you'll call inspired.
Not aspired.
No, definitely not a Ford Aspire. And that is it. I'm not going to give away anymore because it's the tagline.
Oof.
What are we talking about here today, Frank?
So this is of the era when you had a lot of new players trying to get their foot in the door, trying to get their Johnson in the door and be like, look how luxurious and sporty we are.
Right.
You had basically every Japanese brand.
Sure.
Up until the moment you said available 5-speed, I was thinking maybe this was going to be an Infiniti M30.
Yes.
Because that is a 3-liter. It's interesting they said overhead cam.
Right.
Not dual overhead cam.
But we've seen that in the past.
We have.
Yeah, we kind of don't.
But a lot of times, if they're wetting themselves at the technological marvel that is high, deep pile carpeting, a lot of times they'll want to sing their praises about, not just 1 cam, 2 overhead cams. So 1 or 2 Toyota, and you said 3-liter V6? V6. There was no door count, so it could be a 4-door or 2-door.
Right.
The way this reads, it makes me want to think it's a newer brand trying to get their foot in the door. Maybe it's an ES300. That would have been a 3-liter overhead cam engine. V6 with a manual. That I believe those were indeed all 4-wheel disc brakes. I'm really not convinced here. I'm kind of just taking a shot in the dark just to kind of get on the board here. So I'm going to say Lex, not first gen, because that would have been a 250, but the second generation Lexus ES. That's going to be the ES 300. Final answer, Bob.
The ES 300 is definitely a luxury car.
Mm-hmm.
And you could get it with a 5-speed, which is, we've already expressed, highly desirable.
Katera-like desire.
Getting there. Is unfortunately not the car we're talking about today, Frank.
Got it. Okay.
You're very close.
Ooh.
I don't know. What do you want? What do you want for a tailored hint?
Well, I was gonna ask if I have kind of answered it by saying I'm very close, but I'm still gonna ask it.
Yes, please.
Do I have the name? Do I have the country of origin correct?
It is Japan.
Okay. Did that say rear drive or front drive? It's a V6. We're in the era of, well, 0 to 55 for one thing.
Right.
We're in the era of cassettes and deep pile carpet and overhead cam. It could be
Fuel injection too, isn't it?
boy.
Doesn't.
Am I like unrealistically close or just close?
I don't want to make it too easy on it. You're close.
Toyota Camry SE Coupe. Final answer. 1993.
So the Toyota SE Coupe did have a 3-liter.
Mm-hmm.
Did have a V6. Could have with a manual.
Correct.
It's not the car we're talking about.
Because that's as close as I could have gone.
Right.
Dang it, I got a little cockstrong there. I didn't do a whole lot of deep diving. Okay, so I'm just going to take Toyota off the board.
Want to hit first before you start?
Yeah. Give me an appropriate hint.
What do you want to know? What do you want to know? Is there something specific that can help you, or do you want me to kind of guide you in?
Boy. So I'm taking Toyota Lexus just off the board.
You're taking it off the board.
Honda.
Mm-hmm.
So could be a Legend or an Accord, but I don't think it's an Accord. Because you couldn't get a manual and a V6 Accord until
2003.
later. Yeah, 2003, and the type copy doesn't match that. So I'm taking Honda off the board. I'm leaving the Legend and Legend only.
You want me to help you?
It could be.
Can I maybe give you a year?
Give me a hint.
We're talking 80s.
Okay.
I think that's going to help you a lot because I think you're thinking of 90s, early
Yeah.
90s.
Or, yeah,
We're definitely in the
early
80s.
Okay. I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna pick a year. I'm gonna pick 1986 Nissan Maxima SE. Final answer, Bob.
Yeah, I don't know. Nissan, so it's like no other car in the world, my friend. The Maxima SE, that rare combination of luxury and performance. You got it. We got that.
You know what's funny? Because my very first inclination
I thought you were going to go there.
was the M30, which has that motor in it. It's the exact same engine.
Same engine, same car. Yeah.
It seemed more luxury than I know they like to brand that car as a 4-door sports car. That the 4D SE, you get the little like logo on the lower window.
Exactly.
So I would have thought they would have tried to get more into those scruples. I know those did have the electronically controlled suspension.
Right.
Settings.
This also was after Mazda tried to launch its. There was all this work on what was the brand called again? Mazda's Ledger never kicked off.
Like the Unos?
No, it began with an A. I forget.
Oh, it never even nothing.
Nothing. They tried and it was horrible. I think they launched one car.
I don't think they launched a car. I think it was literally
They prototyped or something. There was
they
So I think that's following that where Lexus and Infiniti was already, Lexus and the other ones were doing it. So Mazda was trying to get in, and I think Nissan at this time did have Infiniti.
Correct.
Right. So that's what's weird that it's
89.
Well, this might be a little before that.
Yeah.
Because that's why they're pushing luxury. Because Nissan tried to go for a luxury thing before they split Infiniti off.
Mazda that's what the Cressida was.
Yeah.
The Cressida was an LS 400 before there was an LS.
It's killing me now that I forgot the Mazda one. But
Or
yeah,
I guess
Lexus
ES,
was
really.
Lexus was totally successful, the most successful. Acura was the first.
Acura was also successful.
Yeah.
Infiniti, it got its peaks and valleys. Mitsubishi never attempted it.
Never, even though the Diamante and an early '90s Diamante would be fantastic.
Yes.
Whew, you got it, man.
That was close. That was a nail biter.
Nail biter. Yeah, your other ones were spot on. Definitely sound like an ES300.
Yeah.
Which fits the bill even more because Lexus luxury, right? So, dude, good
yeah,
job.
that's why the whole Lexus, the way it was written up, it made me think like, okay, this is a new luxury manufacturer trying to get a hold here.
Yeah, I think if I would have told you 80s at the beginning, it might have steered you with an ES, right? Because that ES.
Yeah, that ES, because the first gen ES, well, could you get an ES 250 with a manual?
No, it wouldn't have been a 3-liter though.
It wouldn't have been a 3-liter, but just thinking out loud, like, I know you can get the 300 with a manual.
I guarantee.
know you can get that V6 Camry, I think, with I know the 4-cylinder.
Yes.
Can you get a V6?
Yeah, you
could.
could.
V6 with a
You could get
manual?
the All-Track. Remember the All-Track Camrys had a manual option too?
Yeah, but those were only the 4-cylinder. The 3S.
But I'm saying like from that
Yeah.
year range, everything
Yes.
was a manual.
Yeah,
Like the
yeah.
80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Good.
Boy.
Good job, man.
Boy. So, should we do our tradition, our long story tradition of celebrating by using hardcore street drugs?
Let's do some PCP, man.
Should we do some PCP?
Yeah. What do you got? What's your project car progress for this past week?
I've made a bad life choice. I brought another stray home.
Oh no.
From the cold.
Yeah.
What would you say if I told you I purchased a body-on-frame V6 155 horsepower Japanese 4x4 SUV? What would you think that I got?
Well, I know you too well, but I would assume you bought
What would
something.
it sound like?
That's tough to say, right?
It could. I mean, it could be like a second-gen 4Runner. It could
Could it be?
Yeah.
Second-gen
V6, 3-liter V6.
Not for the price
Body
point,
on
I think.
frame. Well, I haven't gotten there, my friend.
Yeah. Well, I know you.
The other one would have been like a, like an early Pathfinder, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, early Pathfinder
Those
fits
are
that
cool.
bill. Those are cool. You get the 150 horsepower, the same motor that was in that Maxima, right?
That's
You
true.
get 150 horsepower V6, body on frame, full true low range, high range 4-wheel drive. What would you say if I told you I paid $700 for this vehicle?
That's interesting.
I brought home
Here it comes, folks.
a 2001 Suzuki Grand Vitara.
Just a regular
2.5 V6 automatic, 142,000 miles. Power windows go up and down,
Ooh.
power locks. The key fob doesn't work. I think it needs a battery.
That's easy enough.
But of course, it fires right up, runs, drives.
Okay.
It's presentable. It's not perfect. As I said, the clear coat's kind of hokey.
Sure.
No real dents or rust or anything like that. 4-wheel drive works. It all works. But of course, there's a reason why I got it for $700.
There's always a reason.
Doesn't pass smog. No check engine lights, nothing like that. But it refuses to set the cat monitor and the O2 sensor monitor. Since I've got it, I've driven it around a little bit, and lo and behold, the cat monitor did set.
Okay.
Which is great, because
Oh,
I
that's
was worried
super
about not... So California's funny. A lot of cars, in order to get a CARB legal, that's the California Air Research Board,
Yep.
a smog legal in California catalytic converter, it has to have CARB approval, and only so many aftermarket cats have that.
Yep. That's true. And expensive.
Preliminary research shows that they don't make, there isn't one for this particular car. I'm sure there is somewhere, but I haven't found it. There's nothing on Rock Auto. Nothing
Yeah.
like that. So, which means it would be dealer only.
Or you go to a reputable muffler shop.
So should I go to my local Suzuki automobile dealer?
Oh yeah, they're probably kicking out some great cars still.
Yeah, they're still cranking out Kazashis or whatever.
Can you get me a? I wouldn't mind an SX4 manual all-wheel drive.
Yeah, those were cool.
Right? They made
Those
a
were
rally
dope.
car. They ran a WRC car
Yeah.
at that time.
So the fact that it's seemingly I don't have to do a catalytic converter, you never know, but as of right now, it seems like unlikely I don't have to do a catalytic converter is a boon. That's a good thing.
Huge.
So I have ordered, I plugged my scan tool into it. I've been watching the O2 sensor cycle. They seem to be cycling appropriately between voltage,
Okay.
because that's what you look for, right? It'll drop like high voltage, low voltage, high voltage, low voltage on the upstreams.
Gotcha.
Those seem to be performing well. On the downstreams, it should be more static. because it's just going to be reading what's coming out of the cat. And no, they should fluctuate, but
yeah, they're just
to
a different level. The variation between the two.
Right. And those are also fluctuating, but they're putting out slightly different numbers. But I don't know if that, because it's garbage in, garbage out.
What's the mileage?
Signal 142,000.
Just do them all.
I'm probably going
do
to.
them all.
So I found the OEM replacement NTKs. All your car will never need Rock Auto. And so I got the 2 upstream ones because they were $69 a pop. And so those are awaiting install. I got those. I got plugs. So I got 6 spark plugs. They're easy to do on this thing. And then I will do that. I'll probably just hard reflash everything, and then drive it and see if I can get stuff to set.
Okay.
If it doesn't, then I'll do the downstream. The downstream is about $100 a pop. I just hate throwing parts and money at a $700 car.
At that mileage though, it's
I think they're pretty well due. I think Suzuki says 100,000 miles.
It's better than
there's a service interval.
Yeah, you gotta
a lifespan.
You gotta weigh it out, right? It's like, do I just do the 2 and then drive it for a little while and then still have an issue?
Yeah.
It's tough. It's a tough call to make. I hear you. I'm not a fart thrower guy either, but also like mileage and time and all
And
that
again,
stuff.
$700 car, right?
Right.
Like, I don't want to spend 40 hours on it.
But if it passes smog, then you throw in a couple $100 extra bucks, doesn't hurt.
Yeah. If I get a smog, it goes from a $700 car to a $2,700 car.
Exactly.
So, and then I got a choice to make, because then I decide, do I sell it? And do I get my poker chips that I left on the table? Do I scoop them up and take them to the cashier and triple up?
Yeah.
Or do I not do that?
Double down.
And do I double down and go take this thing to Carnegie State Off-Road Park and just keep the snot out of it? Maybe both. Maybe I do $500 worth of body damage to it. I don't know. But because that's what this car is for. It's body on frame. It doesn't have enormous ground clearance. No. But it's got a decent ground clearance, very short wheelbase, V6 power. Like it's a compelling vehicle. I'm actually surprised that people aren't into them as much as they are like the sidekicks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Those are way more agrarian and like
way
farmhousey and shittier.
Yeah.
But this thing's got a real short wheelbase. That's something like a
more
Samurai's got like the shortest wheelbase ever. But this is like sidekick level wheelbase and off-road prowess, and you can't quite get as big of tires on it without doing some lift stuff, and the support isn't as popular.
Kind of like that Rocky almost in footprint size.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of. And you know what? There was the captive import version of it. The Chevrolet Tracker.
That's right.
Of this later car.
Yeah.
So
2000s.
So that's what I'm up against. I was going to drive it potentially out here, but I had to hitchhike out here instead because I'm hauling this here E30 off to my place, waiting a paint correction, and then photo and video, and then bring a trailerage.
Yeah.
How about you? What have you been doing?
Yeah, same old stuff. So the BMW's finished. Gave it a good waxing. We had some PDR done.
Wax on, wax off.
Yeah, wax on. Wow.
Shout out to homie Steve with East Bay Dents.
Did a great job. So now we're rent free for the most part, and getting the paint corrected is really going to make this thing pop because the original paint is in fantastic shape.
Yeah, it just needs a little bit of love. Gotta bring it back. 30 years we did it to paint. And the car runs great. Also, the Accord is getting some work done. So obviously tested the suspension component. Speaking of throwing parts at a problem, it was having this like very distinct shudder under hard acceleration. Yes.
Which rules out like tire. Usually rules out things like wheel bearing. And lo and behold, I go and test out the suspension components. I get under there, I grab the inner part of the axle, and I can move it up and down and it clicks. Yeah. So that's actually what's happening, especially with an engine that makes a lot of power.
In the front.
In the front.
Yeah.
You really notice it when you slam it down. It's a lot of force, a lot of
yeah.
torque right there. So once I replace those axles, it is crappy replacing front-wheel drive car axles. There's no way around it. It's not a fun job, especially a car with 220,000 miles on it. A lot of these bolts have not been ever cracked free. Right?
Yes.
So that'll be fun, but I've already sourced the axles, getting ready to throw that in, and then this car is literally ready to go, man.
There you go.
I did the bumpers.
Turnkey.
Yeah, the bumpers I redid. They were pretty banged up, like any car with 220,000 miles. The rest of the paints, and we both were in agreement. This car is in phenomenal condition.
I'm assuming you're gonna V-box it and do all this stuff.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a fun. It's gonna be a fun review. But what a great car to go to someone like. If you want something that's still kind of enthusiast. Aspirations, and it is luxury, nice interior.
Sure.
Why not? And reliable, dead nuts reliable 3-liter V6, one of his best engines of all times. I'm excited, man. That's all I need is those axles. So
looks good. New badges.
New badge, everything. Yeah, it's gonna be good to go. But yeah, that's my PCP. You know, when I don't have the mouse poop plague, I'll be back in the garage going crazy again. So.
That's right. Another victim of rattage.
Oh my god. Yeah. Yes. When your cars sit, be careful, guys. There'll be an informational video coming out shortly.
Exactly. Yeah. How to delouse yourself after working on a car that's sat for a decade or full of hantavirus at all.
Yeah. So I think that's it, man. I think we kick this thing to the curb.
Mm-hmm. Yes. We apologize for the probably sketchy audio quality of this here episode. Things happen, but thanks for fighting through it with us. I am Frank, and I am available at The Photographer's Garage on the Instagram and YouTube. How about you, Chadwick?
That's the truth, man. You can find it there. You can find me at the Auto Obsessive Garage on the tubes and the grams.
And as 50 Cent once said, you can find me in the club, and then I don't remember what he says after that.
Yeah, what is
something about making love?
Something about angel in the streets, freak in the sheets.
That sounds about right.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
That sounds like 50 Cent.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, on that note, thank you. Tune in next week for more 50 Cent talk and better audio quality and all of the things. So thanks for putting up with us. And we'll see you then.
Thanks for stopping by, guys. Take care.
Toodles.